Hello students, welcome to Learner's Planet. Now today we are going to continue with the chapter Life Processes. Life processes, it means those essential functions or those essential metabolic processes taking place inside the body so as to maintain the life. Fine. So basically all those functions which are essentially required for the survival of an organism, they are life processes. And one of such important process is nutrition, the process by which we are getting our food. But there are some organisms which can synthesize their own food, or they can obtain it from other organisms. So those who are obtaining it from other organisms, they are heterotrophic, and the one which can prepare for itself is a autotrophic nutrition. And we have done both these processes so far. In the previous session we were studying about the Holozoic nutrition, our type of heterotrophic nutrition, right? Holozoic nutrition means what? It means a process by which the living organisms, they ingest solid food material and then they digest it within the body. We have studied this process in the case of amoeba. We came to know that how these organisms, these unicellular organisms, they ingest the food material inside a cavity that we call as vacuole, and then it digests it inside. Similarly, if the multicellular organisms are there, then we have taken the example of human beings. In the human beings, the process is taking place through the system which is known as digestive system. So this digestive system is basically supporting the process of nutrition in human organisms or higher multicellular organisms, where of course the organ system body organization is present. So in the previous session we had studied about this about the design of this particular system. Let us summarize it. So it consists of two parts, that is alimentary canal and glands. These glands which are associated with the alimentary canal. Alimentary canal is a long narrow tubular structure, which is we can say length could be, it is around 9 meters. Now this 9 meter long tube, it is present inside the body, right? And it extends from the pore which is known as mouth, and it extends till anus. Now these two openings are actually very important for the basic functioning of the digestive system. Mouth, it helps in the intake of food material, whereas anus is responsible for the removal of the undigested food material. So this process means unless the food is not taken inside into this cavity or inside this particular canal, the digestion cannot take place. We cannot obtain the nutrients from those particular food particles. So the initial process is the intake, that is ingestion, which occurs via mouth, and then the digestion begins inside the alimentary canal. So we know that food is comprised of various important components. It contains the elements like carbohydrates, it contains the nutrients like protein, or we can say like lipids, and many other components are present inside the food material. So all these material, they are different from each other in terms of its chemical composition, in terms of its own structure, and so on. So each is going to be digested in the different ways. Now this digestion is actually supported by the special regulatory molecules present inside these alimentary canal. These molecules, they are known as enzymes. Now what do you think, where these enzymes are present? I said they're present in the alimentary canal. So are these enzymes present all the time? If they're present all the time, then what will happen? They can digest the normal composition of our own cells, as all these cells are made up of these biomolecules only. That's like carbohydrate, protein, lipids, and other things. So if these enzymes are functioning inside the alimentary canal all the time, then what will happen? Your own structure will be modified. It does not happen. It is secreted when it is required. So such type of secretion of enzyme is a major function of associated glands. Now, as these are there are different components, so the different enzymes are needed, right? So all these differences are maintained by the design of alimentary canal. This alimentary canal, the design or the structure we have already done in the previous session. So let us just have a review of that. So this particular canal or the alimentary canal begins from the mouth, which is actually opening into a cavity known as buccal cavity. Buccal cavity, which contained what? It is comprised of jaws, teeth and tongue. And further, they are actually helping in the crushing or grinding of the food material, and in fact the lubricating. The lubrication of food material is done so that it can pass down the alimentary canal quite easily. Besides this, they are having several glands associated with it, which will help in the digestion of the carbohydrate molecules. Further, the next part, it proceeds into a narrow tubular structure which is present in the center of the thoracic cavity, which leads to a bulge out region which is known as stomach. The stomach, this alimentary canal, it swell up and is somehow shifted towards the left hand side of the abdominal cavity below the diaphragm, and is meant for the digestion of the proteins. Further, it leads to the small intestine, which is the long tubular part of this alimentary canal, and is we can say it is around 6 meter long. So the 6 meter long is accommodated in the abdominal cavity only, right? So for that purpose it is highly coiled, and it supports the digestion of all these material, carbohydrate, proteins as well as lipids. So the complete digestion or the complete conversion of this food material takes place in the small intestine. Further, this small intestine is also meant for the process of absorption. Absorption of what? The absorption of the digested food material. Once the conversion is over, that means the complex substances are converted into the simpler forms, then they have to be absorbed into the blood stream, and then they are transported to the target site. So such absorption is not taking place in this entire tube. Rather, it is taking place only in the small intestine. So the small intestine is actually needed for the process of digestion as well as for the absorption. Further, the left out food material, that is the undigested food material, is transported to the large intestine, where the excess of water is reabsorbed, and the remaining food material will be egested out of the body or removed out of the body through the pore which we call as anus. Now we have seen that the digestion is not taking place in all part of this alimentary canal. Neither the diameter of the alimentary canal is uniform. So basically, how it is possible? Diameter is associated with its design and all. It has nothing to do with the secretion or anything. But the main part is that digestion is not taking place in all of the part of this the alimentary canal. So where it is taking place? It is taking place in the buccal cavity. Then it is not taking place in esophagus. This esophagus is meant for the transfer of food material, right? Then further, of course, it is taking place in the stomach and in the small intestine. Further, there is no digestion in the large intestine. So we can say that now the buccal cavity, stomach and small intestine is a major part of the alimentary canal where the digestion is taking place. In terms of digestion we are talking, then we can say these are the three main parts. Besides this, all of the parts are equally important. So this digestion which is taking place in all these spaces is also different. Buccal cavity supports only the digestion of carbohydrate. Stomach can support only for the proteins. Then small intestine help in the digestion of all of these components. So the secretion or the enzymes present in each part is supposed to be different. So from where these enzymes are coming? These are coming from the digestive glands. These glands, they may be present within the wall of alimentary canal or it may be associated with it through some duct. That means it is located on the exterior side of the alimentary canal, from where it is connected or from where it is draining its secretion into the alimentary canal via the small tubular structure known as the duct. So now in this session we are going to study about each and every gland which is helping in the process of digestion, or which is helping in the functioning of this alimentary canal. So let us find out which glands are present here. So these digestive glands, we already said that they are either associated, that means they are present exterior to the alimentary canal, and they are associated with the alimentary canal via duct. Such glands are salivary glands, liver and pancreas. Then those which are present within the alimentary canal, they are gastric glands and intestinal glands. So now in this session we will study about all these particular glands. Fine. So when we have to study these glands, the basic points that we are supposed to know are the location. That means where these particular glands are present. The next thing that we must know about these glands is the secretion. That what type of secretion is secreted by these particular glands, and what is the composition of this particular secretion. Then beside this, the composition, whatever is present there, what is the site of action, that whether it is secreted by the glands, now where it is transferred or where it is functioning, that site of action must be clearly known to you. Then besides this, the important function is action itself, that how they are actually helping in the process of digestion. So we are going to study about all these points now. Going to continue in the next session, and that will be like those glands which are present within the wall of the alimentary canal. So till then, thank you so much, and we'll continue in the next session. Have a nice day.